Hey YouTube, what's up? I'm here to give a little demonstration on what I've been doing with the first game I've ever made in GameMaker. This is sort of where I go to add new features to my game and learn new skills, essentially. And then anything that I do in here, I can add to a different game later on if I want. So this is sort of my experimental area. So I'm sort of going to just walk you through step by step what each room does, the behaviors that we have in each room, and yeah, just go from there. And here you can see there's all these tiles in the background. This actually isn't a graphical effect. It's actually an instance exists for each one of these tiles. And the reason I did that is because I don't want just to have graphics behavior. I want it to say if I use one of these in the game, um, I can make it do something else besides light up, or say the player steps on a certain tile or something like that. Then I can have another behavior trigger. It actually causes a lot more overhead. If I press tab here, then you can see this bar at the top here is how much memory it's using up. It requires more overhead, but this is just the way I did it starting out. I think in the future I will just make it a graphical thing because I don't think it's worth how much memory it uses. You can see this when I press tab, this is just a debug mode that I created, and I'll show you how it works further in too. I'll display all sorts of information that's really useful if you're gonna be making a game. You want to be able to see vital information in the room. So just here at this menu I have this text here is wrapped in a box essentially, and if I click on this box, then a certain behavior executes. And I have all this set up in scripts so that if I want to make new menu elements, then I can do that super easily. I don't have to rewrite all the behavior for what happens if I click in a box. And it easily sets up like what kind of font I want to have the menu element for and all that kind of stuff. So I just press tab to go back to full screen. And then here's just the main menu. And you can see that all these blocks are persistent across rooms because I switched to a whole nother room when I'm doing menus. I didn't just like make it so that a new text overlay appears in the same room. And that's just the way I did it. You can do it a different way. That's probably easier so they don't have to set up a new room every time. Yeah, all these blocks are on like a timer essentially, and it just spawns a new one above the screen at a certain period of time, at a certain interval, and then at a certain interval, like these blocks are set to explode. Yeah, we have this little options menu. You can change it to full screen and back again. You can stop all the sound from playing. And if you have any questions on how to do that, how to change a global sound variable, just feel free to leave a comment and I'll answer your question, and I can create a tutorial if you'd like. Same for if you're wondering how to do full screen. If you have any questions about how to do the buttons and the arrows as well, feel free to leave a comment and I can explain that pretty easily too, or I can link you to some good GameMaker forum stuff. Yeah, so right now there's no multiplayer, so nothing happens if you click that. Actually, let me turn the sound back on. This is the single player menu. You can change a couple things here. Right now the only mode that's functional is mode 1. I showed this off in my how to create text input video, so if you want to figure out how to write in here like this and then save that name, just search it on my channel and it should be pretty easy to find. So yeah, you can put in a name here and start. And basically it's the same system as before. You have all these tiles here, and the blocks that you place, if you just hold spacebar, those snap to the tiles. So it's sort of like a grid-based system. You have this player here, his name's registered. I have this flashlights, and the tanks that are appearing here are on a timer. So they just spawn every 6 seconds, basically. And they're only visible if they're in the flashlight. That little text that appeared there at the bottom, that's actually a list that I created, and it stores all the information of like who's destroyed who in the game. Those numbers there are the instance ID, and every object that you create in GameMaker, every instance of that object has an instance ID. So that's what's printing out. And then nerfed is, y'all know what that means. I don't have to explain that. This is a timer ticking down here, and when it gets to 0, it displays all the scores. So I'm going to have a really low score here because I've been talking rather than playing. You can see my name, nerfed, etc. This is a list of high scores. It's read in from a file, and it's sorted also. I used a bubble sort to sort that because I had to actually like parse the information that was in the file. It has a name, and then it also has a number, which is the score. So I couldn't just use the data structures that GameMaker has. It has stuff like DS list, and I think it is stored in a DS list, but I couldn't use the DS list sorting algorithm on it, the built-in function, because that just sorts it based on like whatever type of data is inside the structure. And mine was filled with a string, and that string had the name and the number. So if you call DS sort on your list, then it's going to sort it alphabetically if it's full of strings. And I want to sort it based on the number that it had inside. So basically, I had to like parse out the number from the string as I read it in from the file that it's stored in, and then I had to sort those. And I use a bubble sort. It's really slow, but it seemed good enough for the purpose of this game, and it doesn't take long to appear. So that worked out. Yeah, you can sort of see everybody's just battling in the background. And I think that's all I'm going to show off for today. You can go back to the options menu here, change all that, make it that. And then if I just press R, I have like my my debug functions on. So if I just press R, I can restart the game. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, leave a comment if you want to know anything about writing files in GameMaker, if you want to learn how to do explosions, if you want to learn how to do player movement. I have some, like, here. Oh, if I press tab here, I have some more debug functions. You can see that the player is wrapped in a bounding box. If I shine my flashlight on the other ones, you can see that those tanks are wrapped in a bounding box. If you want to figure out how to have enemy players or enemies search for other enemies and also search for you, feel free to ask in the comment section, and I'll make a tutorial for that. If you want to figure out how to code acceleration functions or how to figure out any type of movement stuff beyond just moving a character around the screen by incrementing like the number of pixels, like if you want to know a little bit more about like physics and kinematics, feel free to leave a comment about that too. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. This is just like a brief overview of the game, and just show off the first game that I ever started on. And I'm actually really proud of how it's coming along. Still has a lot of work to do. I'm probably going to hold off on working on this more, because when you're doing game development, it seems like you can kind of just, code forever until you have something that you're satisfied with, and that can take a long time. Right now, the gameplay isn't really fun. It's sort of just like a feature demonstration, and I'm hoping that the fun will come later. And even if it doesn't, this is cool as like a tech demo for a portfolio. So, okay, I think that's everything. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.